Taking the high dive to a whole other level. In today's Cincinnati Curiosities, we're looking back at a time when bridge jumping was a career for some people. Take a look. Bridge jumping isn't the career it used to be. Time was a man could earn a solid livelihood by leaping from America's river spans. The classic case was Steve Brody, who claimed to be the first man to survive a jump from the Brooklyn Bridge. Although it remains a matter of debate whether he really did jump from the brand new bridge in 1886, Brody parlayed his notoriety into a saloon and minor stage career. Tough guy actor George Raft portrayed Brody in the 1933 movie The Bowery. With several magnificent spans, the Queen City had our own bridge jumpers, most notably Meredith Stanley, who had a long career and acquired considerable fame. Stanley first gained notoriety when he dramatically rescued two young ladies from drowning in the Ohio River in 1888. On a $5 bet, Stanley made his first bridge jump later that year, leaping from Cincinnati's Suspension Bridge into the Ohio River. Although he earned instant celebrity for this death-defying leap of 120 feet, Stanley wanted more. Next spring, Stanley traveled to Lexington for the big one. Just south of Lexington, on the Cincinnati Southern Railroad line, is the High Bridge, 285 feet above the Kentucky River. Accompanied by witnesses, Stanley made the jump on April 11, 1889. Although the Kentucky River was only 12 feet deep underneath the High Bridge, Stanley survived the plunge and took the train back to Cincinnati that evening. Stanley continued to jump from Cincinnati's bridges for small bets, often chased off by the police. In April 1891, he hurled himself from 3 local bridges in one day: the Suspension Bridge, the Chesapeake and Ohio Bridge, and the Southern Bridge. A good bridge jumper made money before the jump by collecting bets and after the jump by going on the vaudeville stage. The Highland House, up at the top of the Mount Adams Incline, hired Stanley in 1890 to entertain revelers by leaping from a 115-foot tower into a net. He also got some work diving for the crowds at Chester Park. After some years as a solo performer, Stanley tried to bring his wife, the former Blanche Mason, into the act. It appears that Meredith and Blanche really did leap off the Suspension Bridge together on New Year's Day, 1892. Eventually, the public's taste for bridge jumping waned, and Stanley had to go to work for a living and became a steeplejack, painting church spires and smokestacks around the city. Okay, so this is all very interesting. Today, we are joined by the man behind Cincinnati Curiosities, Greg Hand, to explore more into this. How are you, Greg?
In fine fettle today.
All right. So, I have to ask, first off, was the Ohio River any deeper then than it is today?
Actually, it was the opposite. You know, there were times when you could basically walk across the Ohio River. There were times when navigation was really impossible. So the water that these bridge jumpers were landing in sometimes was a lot shallower than what we have today. So it was far riskier experience.
Unbelievable. And did Cincinnati have other bridge jumpers besides Meredith Stanley?
They did indeed. They fell into 2 categories.
Literally.
Exactly. Those who only competed once because they didn't survive, and those who followed Meredith Stanley. And as with a lot of things in history, who remembers number 2? And so Meredith Stanley was the one who got the glory.
Wow. Okay, so why do we no longer see these daredevils jumping off bridges?
One is it's already been done. 2 is it is far more dangerous today because of traffic. You know, you really just can't get on a bridge and get over a bridge. And there are so many safeguards put in place on bridges to prevent people from committing suicide that there's no longer this easy access to the river.
All right, well, I guess maybe it's just best for us to enjoy traveling across them and enjoy the view.
Remembering what happened in days past.
It sounds good. Well, Greg Hand, thanks so much.
Thank you.